Hey guys, it's Jen from JCT Rustic Homestead, and today I wanted to talk about how I organized our plant sale. For me, it went really well. My only concern is that the customers are happy with the plants that they got, and so far that seems to be the case. I've gotten really good feedback. My mom said it was super well organized, but she's kind of biased. But I now almost have walking room in the greenhouse. I sold a ton of plants. I still have some, but we also need to keep plants for our garden. But anyway, I wanted to explain how I ran it for others that are interested in organizing their own plant sale, either somewhere else or at their farm. For me, it's going to be mostly geared having it at your own place, but a lot of things can apply for if you're having it somewhere else, or if you're not even looking for a plant sale. This is a lot of general event needs, like directions to where your event is going to be held, signage, product, and a little bit more organization than what even I was prepared for. I know several of the things that we needed, but did I get them all done? Not quite. Anyway, I'm going to insert a clip next that is from the day of the plant sale after everything was done and most things were picked up. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage during the sale or even pictures because I was busy enough getting things ready and then helping customers. But go ahead and see the clip, and then afterwards I'll run a list of things that you should consider having for your event, either a plant sale, a farm day, or anything else like that. So here we go. Of course it's windy again, but I didn't get a single video picture of the plant sale going on. It was super slow. And then it went crazy, so I ran out of time. But in the interest of letting others know how I did this, first of all, we have a circular driveway. My truck is parked here already. But it allowed really nicely for people to come up the lane, drive into here, and then we had all the pre-orders laid out in front of the garage here. And if they wanted to shop, they could pull around the driveway and park and shop. At most of the plants were on the hay rack, but we also had honey and eggs and a little bit of odds and ends up here by the garage where they could also pay. I had cardboard flats set out for them so that they could put their plants in the cardboard flats. And then we'll take a look at the hay rack. So this hay rack was actually full of plants, and I've condensed everything since stuff has been sold. But and there's some of my containers, empty containers, just laying there. I kept the lawnmower hooked up to the hay rack because the hay rack does have a tongue on it. I didn't want people tripping over it. I just wanted them to be aware of that. So not everybody has a hay rack, and I get that, but you could put out like some plywood on sawhorses or a flatbed trailer or several tables, just up to you. But one thing I want to make sure of is that if people had questions about the plants, that they had the information. So this is sheets that I made up of the plants, and it had the name of the plant, the price, and a brief description about it. And nobody asked about this key, which is fine, but this means that it's an annual, it's good in the sun, and it can be grown in a container. And I did that for just about every plant I had. I ran out of time and forgot a couple of plants, but my main plants had all this information. The price, the name of the plant, and a brief description, as well as a picture. I forgot to point that out. This is anise. But a picture so they knew what it looked like. So, for instance, the echinacea I talked about the other day, this is what it looks like when it's like full grown. That's the flower. But when it looks like this, you don't really know what that looks like unless you're familiar with the plant. These peppers, it was easier for me to do it on one sheet. So I did a brief description about peppers in general, and then individual peppers that I had available. Some are hot, some are sweet peppers. The other thing I did, and not everybody's going to be able to do this, but I did laminate these sheets. because if it were raining or dewy, then my paper is shot. I've had experience with signage for trails getting crinkled with rain, and it's just not worth it. So I laminated it and I stapled it to the hay rack. You could also duct tape it if you just have tables or whatever. Or I used lots of rocks today because we had a breeze. But this is my tomato section. I just condensed a bunch of stuff now because I'm done for the day, trying to get things organized for what I want to do. But see, I was watering things and I dripped water all over the place, but because these were laminated, they stay safe. But again, it just has the name. Let's see if I can get this. It has the name, a description, and the price with a picture. Because people don't know what a Black Prince tomato is until you explain it to them. And instead of having to explain that to however many people are coming, I just put it on a piece of paper. They can read it, get the information they want, and then I don't have to explain it however many times the number of people that were coming. So these are more sunflowers and I'll plant these. I might have some more people wanting sunflowers, but I'll plant what doesn't go. This is some vinca I had. All my lettuce boxes sold, which I was really surprised. Alright, I know that wasn't a great explanation of things on how I set up stuff, but it's better than nothing, right? So what I did though is I created a plant sale checklist. I'll put a link in the comments on how you can get a hold of this for free. It's about 3 pages of a printout checklist for plant sales, but you can use it for just about any small event. This is my first plant sale, but I have managed several endurance rides and helped at many more, and I've just learned some things over the years that makes life easier during the event. And some things you might seem a little crazy, but they work for me, so I'll pass that information along to you. But I'm going to go through a few things. I'm not going to touch on everything on this list because you can read it, but I feel the need to give you a bit of a description so that you understand things and how my brain works to produce this list. First of all, when you have a sale of any kind, you need product. Even if you just have an event, you need product of some sort, not just to sell, but if you are having a farm event, you need something to bring people in. In this case, mine was a plant sale. And I feel it's important to have various price ranges in that because you don't know the economics of everybody coming to your plant sale. Somebody might not care if they pay $5 for a tomato, whereas that's just out of the question for somebody else. There are people that literally grow food because they cannot afford grocery stores. Their garden is their grocery store. They don't just do it because they love it. They also do it because that is how they can survive on their income. So I do believe in various price ranges. I also like to do deals. Like if you buy 3, it's a little bit less than if you bought those 3 plants individually. You could offer a freebie or a drawing. Like I offered a drawing for my newsletter subscribers. If you want a drawing from pre-orders, or if you have, like I had a bunch of plants that I called my infirmary and I was going to set them out, but I was just too busy to get them out there. And honestly, I kind of ran out of space. But if you have plants that just aren't looking so high, or the first hour you have plants for free, or say you give them a cookie or, something, it just makes you more memorable so that they'll remember, hey, that's where we got that free sample, or she kicked in that extra plant or something like that. I also tried to make an inventory. My inventory was a little few days older than what I actually had product, but it at least give me an estimate. And it helps me see what grew and what is selling. Like I had a ton of Amish paste tomatoes, and I still have a ton of Amish paste tomatoes. I did sell a lot, but not a lot of that variety. I think part of the reason people liked my plants is because I had some unique ones. Like I had purple tomatoes and a purple pepper and actually a purple cherry tomato. But they were things that I wanted to try in our garden this year, and I just planted everything so I could offer the rest to sell to pay for the garden, if that makes sense. But it just helps me to know what I have. And this really helped when I had pre-orders to know kind of what I had left over. Either I needed to keep a couple more back for myself, or I could set them all out on the cart or the table or whatever for everybody to buy. Okay, next thing, signage. What I mean by that is signs everywhere. Just because you know where you live doesn't mean everybody else does. And I apparently am notorious for living in locations that people cannot find. I have lived off of main roads all my life, but you put their address in your map app, whatever it is, and half the people can't find you. They either get sent to the other side of town from where you live, like 10 miles in the opposite direction. No joke. I had somebody end up at the U-Haul in town, nowhere near that. And I do live down a dead-end road, and it's a little confusing when you get down there and you've never been here, but put signs out on the road, because also not everybody is going to see your Facebook event or your website or your newsletter. There's going to be people driving down the road that say, hey, there's a plant sale, let's check it out. So signs on the road, signs when they get to the farm. Because of the current times we're in, I had a drive-through pre-order option. People are concerned about social distancing, about contamination, biosecurity. So I encouraged people to pre-order. I batched those orders the day before, so I had all the stock pulled so the general public didn't get it. And then people could drive up, I could load their order, and they could pay and go. They didn't even have to get out of their car. Will I do that every time? I think I'm going to offer it to my subscribers next year. I may not offer it to the general public. However, that's a good incentive for people to join your email newsletter or your subscribers. If that is something that you are doing to grow your farm, it's a great incentive to get people to sign up for your email. All right, so we got roads, we got signs on the farm, where to park. If you have people that you don't want parking somewhere, you're going to have to tape that thing off. I'm telling you, people are going to park wherever they think is convenient, even if you don't want them there. So you need to have a designated parking area. You need to know where people are going to go. And we were lucky in that we have a circular driveway so they could pull up around and park. Or they could just pull up and there was enough room for a second car to get by if we needed to. We also had signs for our product, and you should have seen that in the clip before this, so I don't really need to explain that now, but that's another part of sign. I also put signs in our garden in case people wanted to walk around and see what was growing, because not everybody knows what purple broccoli is. They don't know it exists, or they don't realize that peas come in different varieties. I have 3 different kinds of peas growing, or that radishes come in more colors and shapes than red and round. You know, they can see the lettuce growing or the onions growing or the asparagus, but they don't know what it is always at first sight, so I put signs up in the garden. If you feel there are other signs you need, like say you have a big event and you have bathrooms, put an arrow towards the bathrooms. I have a category for infrastructure, and that's mostly self-explanatory, like tables and chairs and boxes for people to put their plants in. I hoarded boxes for a few months. I'm not sure the stores really appreciated me or not pulling some of those boxes off the shelves, but I did it. They're free in some places like Aldi's. Everybody pulls boxes anyway. It actually is a way for Aldi's to save money. So that's actually a perk for that store. Consider flow of your farm. Like I said, we had a circular driveway, so that worked really well. But if you don't have a way for people to park as soon as they get here, you might have people backed up for a while and create a bottleneck, or people can't even get out. So just keep that in mind. I've had problems with that at rides. When I mean rides, I mean endurance rides. If you're going to have a big event, consider renting a porta potty. It's going to be a lot better than people coming into your house. Some cases anyway. I had plants, so I wanted to make sure that I got them watered at some point, which I was so busy I almost didn't get it done. But if you have a garden hose or a watering can, I have an office section. So I am always being asked for a pen, and I never have it. But if people don't have cash, they have to have a way to pay you, either with a check, and sometimes they lose their pen, or if you need to write a note, say, save this plant for somebody or whatever. Another thing is I had to accept some PayPal because people don't even carry checks anymore. They just have plastic. And I don't have a way for credit card transactions, so people pay me through PayPal. And that's fine with me. I just transfer it into my bank account. But consider how you're going to take money. Again, back to the email subscription. If you want to try and get more email subscribers, put a paper out there that says, join our farm, be a part of our garden, something like that. And all they have to do is put their name and email, and you can put it in your email subscription platform. I use MailChimp. It's worked pretty well for me. Marketing. This was a tough one for me, not because I haven't done some marketing, but because I didn't know how much to market. Granted, 1,400 sounds like a lot of plants, but I put a bunch in our garden. There's a lot I wanted to keep for us, and I didn't know how many people that were saying yes to the event on Facebook would actually come versus my pre-orders or my newsletter subscribers. I didn't know how much to promote it, and I didn't know how much road traffic I would get off of it. So I started with just a Facebook event, notifying my Facebook people, and then the day of, after most of my pre-orders came through, we were slow and I was getting concerned, so I posted on a few area Facebook groups, and I had a bunch of people come. I had a lot of people message me. I mean, a lot for me, I'm talking like 5-6 people. I guess that's not a lot. But when you're handling 2 or 3 customers and you're getting all these messages, it's hard to keep up. Which is another thing. If you have people that can help you, let them help you. I know sometimes it's hard to release that control, but I've found people want to help you. They want to do something enjoyable, especially at times like this. It's really hard with the social distancing thing, but if you can have somebody answer messages, huge bonus. Okay, I had information on our website. I had lots of people ask for a price list, so that was something I didn't upload until the week of because I was still finalizing pricing based on how my plants were looking. But 2 or 3 people that contacted me through that second Facebook group notice wanted to know prices before they came. So I could just copy that link and send it to them, and they could look up the price list. One lady wrote all her pricing down. That helped me so much. My brain was fried. So you want that information on your website, or at least accessible. If you don't have a website, that's fine, but at least have a way to direct them to pricing or something, especially when you're busy. So you want to talk to your insurance agent about what you need to do to get a rider on your insurance and what's involved with that, and your insurance agent should be able to coach you along in that. At least mine can. I am very fortunate that I actually like my insurance agent. I may not like paying for insurance, but I trust his judgment. So if you're doing any events on or off farm, look at insurance, because it doesn't just happen on the farm. Say you take product to the farmer's market and somebody gets sick off of it, or they get sick while eating your product, but it doesn't necessarily mean it came from your product. It could have come from somebody else's. But they could sue you as an individual, you as a business, the farmer's market in general, and it's a big can of worms. I'm telling you, pay the extra $50, $100, whatever it's going to take to cover your rear. I hate saying that. I like to believe people are good, but unfortunately you just can't do that. If you're doing an actual event, like say you have a kids' day or something like that, you may want to talk to a lawyer about waivers. And just because you write up something that says, I am not liable for injuries, deaths, anything like that, doesn't mean that there aren't ways around it, unfortunately. So, one more thing I'm going to talk about is subscriber perks. And I do have something about cleanup and what to do after the event, but I'm not going to go into that. You can read the checklist yourself. But subscriber perks, what I mean by that is I have email subscribers. I run my email subscriptions through a host called MailChimp. If you are serious about growing your business, some of the first steps people say to do is to start a website, start a newsletter, subscriber, email list, whatever you want to call it. Subscriber list, email list, newsletter, any of those words. So I created some subscriber perks. Subscribers who pre-ordered got first dibs at plants. So say Mo, Larry, and Curly are all newsletter subscribers. But Harry and Tom ordered before Mo, Larry, and Curly. They all pre-ordered, but Mo, Larry, and Curly, because they're subscribers, are getting their orders filled first. So if I run out of product with them, unfortunately, Harry and Tom are not going to get that product. So that's a perk of being a subscriber. Now, my dad said something like, well, what if they're not a subscriber and they pre-ordered? You put the option out there. Unfortunately, that's just the way you're going to have to be. You know, I don't mean to sound rude, but if somebody says something about it, just say, I'm really sorry. That's just a perk of being a newsletter subscriber. I would encourage you to become a subscriber. That way you get first access, you get first news, and you are one of the first people that can do your pre-orders. That's getting more people into your newsletter subscription. I'm having a hard time finding ways to increase my subscribers, but I think I increased by maybe 8 because I posted that in my Facebook event. Another thing I did for my subscribers is I put them in a drawing. Any subscriber that pre-ordered by Thursday at 9 o'clock got put in a bowl. Their name got put in a bowl, and I drew for a lettuce box. I wasn't going to sell the lettuce originally, but it actually sold out within a couple hours. I couldn't believe it. So that's definitely on the books for next year. But that was just another perk of subscribers. That was also an incentive for me to get pre-orders. And why did I want pre-orders? Not just because of social distancing, but that way it was a little less stress the day of. I could get the orders batched and grouped the day before. They were off of my mind. They weren't on the cart, or the tables for everybody. They were ready to go. If people wanted to shop more, they were more than welcome to. But I had their order ready. I could stick it in their car. They could pay me and leave if they needed to. And then they could go plant and have a great day in the garden. So I gave a free drawing. I gave first access to orders. I also gave them early access. My event was publicized as from 10 to 3. But I opened up at 9 o'clock for my newsletter subscribers. That way they could get in, out, and go home. Or if they had more to do during that day, I find a lot of people that have a lot of things to do want to get this stuff done in the beginning of the day before they get lost for time. So they got a little bit early bird access. And make sure that you let your social media outlets know of some of these subscriber perks. You could do a ton of different things, but if you're looking to grow your email list, these are some ideas to help you do that. So I'm going to wrap it up for now. Again, I'll put a link to this checklist in the show note description. And yes, it's another way to gain subscribers. When you click on the link, it'll take you to a MailChimp landing page. So like I said, my email subscriptions are run through MailChimp. You can create a landing page on there. So what you do is you put your email and your first name in, hit subscribe, and I get your email as a subscription, and you get a free download. That's also something that you can offer through your website or Facebook for your marketing. I don't have an Instagram, so I'm sorry I can't give you any details about how to use that. But in exchange for your email, you get this free plant sale checklist. I also have something through my website where subscribers get a free Grow With Us herb download right now. I've done an egg recipe download. At Christmas, I did a few of our favorite things, and I'm always looking for a new download for our subscribers to keep them interested and give them some valuable information. So this is another example. If you're looking to grow your email list, you can use something like this. You get a PDF version. If you need to do a Microsoft Word version where you can edit it, let me know. Get in contact with me and I can help you with that. So I hope this helped you guys organize or at least brainstorm for your plant sale event. If you can't do all this, don't worry about it. Seriously. This is coming from 10 years of managing endurance rides and helping with events and just seeing these little insignificant things add up during the event. If I can get some of this stuff done ahead of time, like the road signs and the product list and price list done, so it's a lot easier for me to forward on to somebody else, I gotta do it, because the day of you're gonna be crazy and you're gonna be exhausted. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality, or maybe it's just me. So I hope it helped you. Simplify if it's overwhelming, okay? Just pick a few things to perfect or work on and then go from there. And you can always learn for next time, seriously. And shoot me an email if you're interested in just chatting with me and how I did it and stuff, because I know sometimes that dialogue helps me learn more than just reading a checklist. Sometimes this is a little overwhelming, especially when it's 3 pages long. But check us out at jctrustichomestead.com. Be sure to watch some of our other videos. Please consider subscribing. It really helps our channel. And also, you can find us on Facebook in case you didn't notice that before. But I'll catch you all later.